This story starts in Gaylord, Michigan, on May 20th, 2022. The day was like any other. It started with me going to school and going through my regular class schedule. But the story really begins when me and my brother get out of school. Once we left school, we stopped at Family Fair in Gaylord, the town we were from, to get a couple things. We had just gotten back to our car when the alert popped up on our phones saying, "Tornado warning, take cover." In true Midwest form, me and my brother completely disregarded the warning and shrugged it off as one of the tiny tornadoes that always touches down in our town. I ended up getting a text from my friend that read, "It's over at Otsego Lake, avoid that area." This comment gave me nothing but false security because Otsego Lake was pretty far away. Therefore, the tornado must have been pretty far away. I could not have been more wrong.
Powerful tornado striking Michigan, part of a severe weather system from Michigan to the northeast. We have the images just coming in. The confirmed tornado causing significant damage in Gaylord, Michigan, where buildings are flattened and debris litters the ground. People are being warned to take shelter. State police advising people to avoid the area.
Tonight, a massive tornado touching down in Michigan, debris swirling in the air. People seen running for cover with the twister bearing down. Soundstripe. Warning people to avoid the area. Businesses along this street suffering heavy damage.
Looks like part of Hobby Lobby roof is gone.
Authorities issuing a tornado warning late this afternoon, urging residents to take shelter immediately. Late tonight, officials confirming at least one person was killed and dozens injured.
We started driving west out of town towards my mom's work with the slightest amount of caution, when all of a sudden, my brother said something to me that made me think he was trying to mess with me. He said, "Those clouds look like they're spinning." My immediate reaction was to punch my brother on the shoulder for trying to freak me out, but since he was driving, I decided that might not be the best idea. It only took me a brief moment to realize my brother's joke wasn't actually a joke. He was being completely serious. In front of us was a 200-foot-tall pillar of wind tearing apart a small housing community. Somehow, the fabled tornado around the lake that my friend mentioned had traveled 15 miles north directly on top of me. Once the clouds turned into a spinning black mass of debris, I realized the situation that I was in. Me and my brother quickly decided to drive off the road into an Aldi's parking lot to get out of the path of the tornado. But unfortunately, the tornado had the same idea. It made it turn into the same parking lot. In the next 10 seconds, I would experience one of the most terrifying moments of my life. When we parked in the lot, I looked out the window to once again realize the situation we were in. I was completely frozen with fear. In front of me was a spinning mass of death that was cutting power lines like scissors through thread and throwing around sheet metal like it was weightless. The tornado continued through the parking lot, destroying everything in its path, which included the car we were in. Once it reached our car, it felt like it was standing over us for an hour, but in reality, it was about 10 seconds. The noise of the tornado was deafening. It was the loudest sound I have ever heard. I started to feel safe inside the car, and I felt like the tornado couldn't reach me. Once again, I was wrong. The wind pressure was so high outside the car that our back passenger side window imploded. I felt nothing but fear. The tornado that I thought that I was safe from broke the only protection that I had from it. And somehow, the loudest noise that I ever heard got louder. After the tornado had passed, the feeling was completely opposite of when it was over me. It felt like time had completely stopped. We stepped outside of the car to see the destruction that had taken place. Buildings were completely flattened and cars were thrown over. And the only thing we could hear now was hundreds of sirens heading towards us. It felt like we had stepped out into the apocalypse. In the end, me and my brother were completely fine, but the tornado had unfortunately taken 2 people's lives and over 40 people were injured. The tornado, which has now been named the Gaylord tornado, was rated an EF3 and had traveled over 16 miles and had been on the ground for over 20 minutes. It was the largest tornado to hit the area in over 50 years, and I somehow got caught in the middle of it. To this day, I still struggle with the sound of wind rushing past me, and the sound of a phone weather alert makes me freeze. But what I have learned from this disruption in my life is that you never know what is going to happen next. Even the most boring of days can become life-changing.